All right, I want to do a check-in with you with the midway point on my reread of Memories of Ice. I actually started it 8 months ago or something like that, and then I just got caught up in other stuff. And so I've been continuing it, and holy smokes, this really might be like my favorite book ever. It sparked all of these discussion videos and stuff on this channel. It turned out to be like 300 videos or something crazy in the reread. Right now, I'm in subbook 3, so just over halfway, and I wanna go through some of these things that have happened up to this point that just make it the best. Uh, this really is where I think the series does really launch. Even though, man, I loved Gardens of the Moon and whatchamacallit, Dead House Gates. Okay, so looking at the dramatis personae, so this will be totally spoilers. If, I'm gonna try to. I mean, I want to be able to talk about the whole series. So this really is a reread. If you want to get my full thoughts on, I have a whole playlist of my initial reaction on my first read, but this is the reread where I want to just be unfiltered and be able to talk about anything. So we've gotten to Gruntle. Things are popping off in Capistan, which I still think, you know, at the end of the first read, I thought Capistan maybe was my favorite siege. I'm starting, it's still amazing, but I'm starting to wonder if that Bone Hunters, was it chapter 7 or chapter 9? I'm wondering if it's that one. I think it might actually be that one because of the whole caves thing and everything. Holy smokes. But the stuff with Gruntle is just like the rage that has just launched off with him is so amazing. Stani Manakis obviously becomes one of, I think, a lot of people's very favorite sympathetic characters as we see some of the aftermath, regarding Harlow, which in the dramatis personae, uh, Harlow is right underneath the namesake Harlow. Buke is flying around, which I still don't really understand where the whole storyline with Buke goes. I can't remember, but he's flying because he ate a clay pigeon or something like that. And I am so looking forward to the Quick Ben versus Corbel Brooch moment. While this is all popping off, I don't think it has happened yet, but like in my reread, it was 8 months ago, so there are some things like I started my reread again, getting excited for the whole Trots versus Humbral. Was that how you say his name? Humbral Tar's son. And I think I'm past it, which is so disappointing because it's one of the best parts of the book, in my opinion. Just such a cool duel. I can't believe how much more these characters are just popping off the page in general. I'm so excited to get to House of Chains, and I keep my eye on Midnight Tides. I think that's really the target. And then once I get to that point, then I'll know if I want to really push through the reread quickly or, give it another 6 months or something. But that's the target. Bruchalion has just done his stuff, which is like the coolest thing ever. Itkovian has just had his initial sort of, what does he just say? Finished chapter 16. I am the shield anvil. I am Fenner's grief. I am the world's grief, and I will hold it all, for you are not yet done, which is like he's talking to Anaster or whatever his name is. And I had forgotten that the gray swords were like so connected to him. So I mean, I should have realized that, but when the gray swords kind of pop up later, I think in Reaper's Gale, I kind of forgot some of the connection happening. Uh so Brucalion's gone. Carnadas is gone, I think. Going through some of these Wrathfenners, like, man. I mean, that's a good description, right? Let's see. Dujek, we've just got through this this part where Kaladin Brood kind of loses his mind and hammers Kruppa, which Kruppa just seems so much cooler now than he did before. He kind of, he obviously was very intelligent and things, but he puts on this air of like he's an instigator, and he does that on purpose for this thing with Kaladin Brood, who was Kruppa's been bragging that only I am between the death of the whole world and with the crippled god, right? And he needs a sign, and he kind of instigates, and a part of the sign, more so than just showing how powerful it is, he's showing like within the cracks of the mountains is you can see the blood of the earth or whatever. Shoot, what was it called again? I just read it today. Anyway, very, very, very cool. Artanthos, we know, the standard bearer. We know who he is. Ganos, I don't like him less, but I see him less of like the only character. Going through the first time, I thought, well, this is the Ganos show, and really part of it is, but there's just so much more than that. Really like Ganos still, though. All of the bridge burners, I love 10 times more the second time through. The thing that really pops with them is even though they're like crazy, like Spindle, and goofballish, sometimes they just get relegated to the comic relief that don't really have much effect in the story. But when it comes down to it, these are the baddest people around. Even if they're silly and whatever, these are totally the people you want on your side. Again, Spindle is maybe my favorite bridge burner on a level of like mixture of what is it, like magic and the sapper. Like it's maybe my favorite kind of duo. And when it comes down to it, it's these cussers that people are just so scared of. Going through further, more stuff happening with, we'll get to the bridge burners more as this book continues in the conclusion here. Again, Quick Ben, I'm waiting for him. I talked about Kaladin Brood. We had more with Animander Rake. Calor, I keep having my eye on him. I wish we did get more in the series with Calor, but the stuff that we do get, if you pay attention, really does flesh out his character really well, and love him. The Maiba is maybe the worst part of the reread. It's still touching, but just doesn't hit as much as in the first time through. Now that you know what to expect of her kind of arc, that it's fine, right? But it's definitely the part that drags in the reread the most, I think. Maybe other people would disagree. Silver Fox, I went to my whiteboard, my whiteboard recap to see all the people that are like in her, so to speak. Corlat is still one of my favorites. I love Corlat and Whiskey Jack. And I so called it at the end of Crippled God that they would have to have some kind of reunion at the very end in the epilogue. I called that. So, what else? Crone. I still like Crone. I like Heaton, and I like the stuff with the white-faced Barghast, and they're trying to get these bones back from the that are underneath Capistan. Some people might have to maybe explain again the context of the relationship between the Rivi and the Barghast and the Eye Mass. They're all kind of connected, right? And you can throw in Karsa's Teblor people. The first time through, I was trying to become like, I was trying to be very careful with my reading. Uh, and in some ways that benefited it, but in some ways it made me, it made me think that things were foreshadowed that weren't foreshadowed, and it really kind of had me hyper focusing on some things, but also I was trying not to go to wikis and stuff. This time through, I'm trying to just read it. I'm not doing all this notation stuff. And actually, the more I've stepped back, the more that it has kind of, the more that things have kind of fallen into place more naturally. And but there are some stuff with the lore still, and some of the connections that I'm still a little bit, uh, you know, still a little bit backwards on. Uh, let's keep going. Man, I love Bocalane and Corbel Broach and Emancipor Reese because of the short stories, especially. So I'm so looking forward to the stuff with Quick Ben because I just can't wait to get back to Corbel Broach and Bocalane or Bocalane or whatever. Call, right? I don't remember the envoys so much. Oh yeah. No, yeah. Murillo and that and Call are taking care of the Maiba at this point. Um, what else is happening? I love. I do feel for the Talani Mass in this, and their goals, and knowing that they have this expectation of Silver Fox, and that she's not going to like release them from whatever. I might be getting that a little wrong in my memory, but I think I'm getting that right. Let's see. The seer. There's so much foreshadowing about this seer and who he is. And I suppose I won't say, just in case anyone's cheating and still watching this in their first read, but there's so much foreshadowing, and it's this series really doesn't leave you in the dust so much as it just kind of makes you pay attention to details. And if you go slow enough, you're going to understand things. So going to the stuff happening with the Panion, like the children of the dead seed, I'd kind of forgotten about that. It's so dark. I forgot about Talk is being hugged by this Kachain Chamal, and he's learned to suffer in silence as his bones break and get remended, and he poops himself, and the Kachain Chamal licks it up. It's like, forgot about that detail. Like, there's so many wild stuff. I think about Spinnick when I think of this whole Seer Domin stuff, and I wonder if he's one of the people. Isn't he the one that was kind of maybe a little bit nice to Talk, like gave him a cloak or something? I can't remember. No, not Spinnick. Spinnick is the awesome Tistandi, right? But I'm thinking of the Seer Domin guy from Toll the Hounds. What was his name? Did he just go by Seer Domin? Anyway, really, really, really cool. Their kids are crazy. I got to the part in the palace in Kapistan with the stretched skin of the prince. It's like, what a visual that is. Holy smokes. That's such a... There's so many moments in this book and in the whole series, but in this book especially, that are just so visual. That could be the climactic scenes in our imagination in a lot of novels that we read, but you get like 10 of them. You get like 10 of these amazing visual scenes in our imagination in each of these books. And I think it kind of starts being that way mostly in Memories of Ice, even though we get that in Dead House Gates. Crawl is obviously amazing. and you get some of the foreshadowing about some of the relationship, uh, more of the relationships maybe between like him and Kruppa, and some of things that are some of the things that are happening. Sister of the Cold Knights, you know where she is. I haven't seen Lady Envy and Gareth and Balljag and Tool, and I haven't seen them for a little while. What was the name of the Segula? Mach, Senu. Man, I can't wait to get to the side things for the Segula, whichever side things they're in. I haven't gotten to the chained ones for a while. Munnig. Does he have his blasted balls yet? Oh, that was just at the very start, right? Or is he holding on to those right now? Anyway. Talamandus, right? The stick snare, I totally forgot about that. Grumble and the guy that paints the cards or whatever. Mm-hmm. No. I might be getting that. It's that Ormu Logan. That's the guy that paints. No, it's Munnig is the painter, right? What does Ormu Logan do? I can't remember. Isn't he some kind of artist too? Anyway, it says he's an artist and one arms host. Sorry guys, I saved you a comment. We have the Mott Irregulars, which I think I was thinking, and I was talking about this in the Discord, that I wish Steven Erikson would maybe consider, you know how a lot of these series will do they'll have the 0.5 in between books, and then they'll have the prologue, which is like the 0 book. I wish that he would consider maybe doing a 0 book for Gardens of the Moon, like a prequel book that would have to do with stuff leading up to the Siege of Pale. You could include the Mott Irregulars and include a bunch of stuff with the Bridge Burners. We love the Bridge Burners. Think of how much more we could get if we still had a bunch of them alive. What an awesome prequel, and maybe what a great new entry into the series potentially, since a lot of people kind of don't understand the first one and they dip. But I would love to have a legit great prequel just leading up to the Siege of Pale, kind of like what was that Star Wars that led into the episode 4, not 1, 2, and 3, but Rogue One or whatever, right? Something like that. It would be awesome. So anyway, I am loving this. Obviously, I'm juggling a few different things. I'm juggling the Three Musketeers, which comes from, he's the author of my favorite novel ever, The Count of Monte Cristo, and I love the Three Musketeers also. D'Artagnan is like my favorite character because he's very much a Don Quixote type character, which I love. I also am really dying to get to the next City Watch novel in Discworld because I love the first one so much. So I have, I went and picked up Men at Arms. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to finishing. I'm really looking forward to getting done Disquiet Gods. I haven't started that yet, but I'm wanting to do that so I can actually keep going in Red Rising. I didn't want to do the two because they're so similar, but I want to finish that, go through Disquiet Gods, and then wait for the final books of both of those series. I want to do the prequel of Pillars of the Earth. I want to keep going in that series as well. I want to read things like Pride and Prejudice and other stuff from the 1800s. I always have Dracula back in the mix every couple years, and things like Frankenstein, even though I think Dracula is a better reread when I get to that one than Frankenstein. But I love it. Initially, this channel was to hype up 1800s books, and I just got sucked into a lot of these new books and then got really sucked into Malazan, and for good reason. But I'm trying to juggle a whole bunch of stuff because I want to have this year really be a great reading year, and I want to get through. I want to get through my reread of this. Every time I get to, whenever I think of rereading it, I think, well, then I'm just missing out on all these other ones I want to get to. But every time I do sit down and I'm rereading it, I think, why am I reading anything else? Like it's the best. So anyway, uh, can't think of what other stuff I'm wanting to get to, but I have a whole bunch of them that I picked out upstairs. Uh, yeah, yeah. I have a bunch of great series going on right now, so really happy about that. And a lot of good surprises. So talk to you guys later, and maybe I'll do another video when I'm done Subbook 3. I'm planning on having that done in maybe a day or two. If I'm reading The Three Musketeers just in bed at night as that book, and then Memories of Ice I've been kind of rereading before work, lunchtime, after work, and I'll once I'm done that one, I might just be feeling like I'm ready to rush through House of Chains, but we'll see. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.